but you don't ever leave. You never leave. Holes in his hands for the holes in my heart. Without his blood shed for me, I'd be stuck in the dark. I'm just being who I'm made. I ain't playing no part. If you searching for fulfillment, he ain't far. It's temporary to a turn up.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Faith and Fitness Podcast. Again, doing it remote in the trailer. Down here again in St. George for another baseball tournament. And let me tell you, when you come to St. George, you assume it's going to be warmer. And although we did not get snow, it was not what you would expect. And 2 days after we leave, it'll be 80. Anyway, so I'm Chad, your host, and this podcast started last year when I reached a low point and I realized something had to change. I started 75 hard, and during that I felt that I learned best speaking out loud, and so this podcast was born, and here we are. And you'll notice, you'll probably hear the dog quite a bit. So we'll get into today. This week I turned 41, and it seemed weird. I've talked about it a couple times, but my dad called me first thing and said the number 41 as he's saying happy birthday, and it seemed weird. I don't know what seemed so weird about it, but it seemed weird. And it just got me think about what I've done over 41 years. And how does the time slip by? What does it mean being 41 and where I'm at? My son seemed to be under the impression that I'm much older, as he said I was 102 in my birthday card. And I was talking to my mom, and I realized that I'm roughly the age she was when I was Jax's age. I mean, we're 4 years apart, so my mom had me 4 years earlier, but still kind of sixes. And I just remember thinking I felt the same way Jax felt, that my parents were old. Parents are just parents, they're just old. And here I am, one of them, gray hair and all. So I was thinking and pondering my age, my life. Is it what I thought it would be? I don't think so. I thought life would look vastly different by the time I hit 40. I mean, when you're 18 and the dreams you have and the ideas of where you're going to go and what you're going to do. But bam, suddenly here it is. I'm 40. And I started wondering what my dreams were. And nothing concrete really came to mind. I think I just assumed life looks different. I don't know, maybe it's because there's always something that is better, something more. Focus on my failures that imply that had those not have happened, that perhaps I would be somewhere better. I don't know. So do I think life is bad? And am I not happy with where I'm at? Last week I talked about being happy, actually. And I do believe I am. Had my birthday happened 3 months ago, I might have had a different view. But working on creating the Chad 2.0, as Bedros Keuilian would say, I'm happy with where it's at. And what a journey it has been. And that is the key. That's kind of, I think, and I've talked about the journey before. I just don't know if it hit different when I realized I'm 41. I mean, if it goes to plan, I would say my life's halfway over-ish. I think 80 seems like a good age to live to. I think I burned enough brain cells and stuff as a kid that I feel like by 80, I'll be okay. So it's the journey that's important. The destination can change, or it might not happen in the way you think. It might not be what you expected when you do get there. Like, I don't know, like going to Disneyland. People that have never been, or if you've never been, it's your first time. There's people that go and they love it. It's a blast, awesome, they have great times. And then I talk to people who hate Disneyland and will never go back again. Maybe you're the kind of person that realizes that you hated it. But if you focus on just that aspect of it, like, does it ruin the entire trip? And let's say that it was a drive. I mean, let's say you were with a bunch of friends or a bunch of, your kids, and it was a really fun ride out, and maybe you stopped along the way and you did some things. But the destination was Disneyland, and you get there and you realize Disneyland sucks. There's too many people. It's hot. It's not as awesome as you thought. The lines were stupid. You can kind of get an idea of sometimes how I feel about it, but you miss the journey, and maybe it was all just about the journey. It wasn't even about the destination. I read the book Happier, and I mentioned this book before, and I can never remember that doctor's name that wrote it, but that's like his big point on it, intrinsic happiness, and that it's generally in the journey, in the process of doing something. And I haven't done that a lot. Like, right, I've missed so much of the journey. I was just trying to get to the destination. I don't even know if I wanted to get to the destination. It just seemed like if I got there, something would be different, something would change. Often I don't even know if I could have defined what the destination was supposed to be or what it would look like. But I knew that getting there was the key. Junior high was just to get to high school. High school was just to be done from school. Join the Army. Go through basic training. Basic training is just to get done so you can just not be in training anymore. You go to the job school for what you signed up for. And it's just about getting done so I can get back home. And then I start my undergrad, and it's all about just getting done, just get that piece of paper and just be done with this. And at some point I go to my first round of grad school, and it's just get done, just get that piece of paper. And then it's Monday, and it's just get through the week so it's the weekend again. And this kind of like whole thing is just like cycles, right? Like even promotions and stuff at work, it's just like, what do I got to do to just get to that? And man, like you just miss. Like I mean, I'm grateful I can go back now and reflect and see what I had missed, but so much in that. And now here I am on round 2 of grad school, and I have this different mindset, right? Like I'm creating this Chad 2.0, and I've read the book Happier, and I'm really trying to live that, and I really feel like I found this intrinsic happiness. And with that, like, it's the journey of school this time. And granted, I'm only 9, well, I guess if you include, I don't know, like almost a third of the way through, and it's different. Like, it's the journey, the process. Has it been hard? Yeah. Has it been a lot of time? For sure. Has it been more than I expected? Absolutely. But I'm like in love with the journey and the process of it. And I don't want to miss it. And yeah, in the end, is there a goal? Is there a destination? For sure. I do have a goal. And it's not the piece of paper, although that's what it's always been in the past. The piece of paper is a byproduct of my goal, but it's not what the goal is. And it's just changed it. So I guess it's like doing all that with everything in life. And although last year culminated, well, I guess mid-year, in like a very scary hard time, and it kind of made me think like it's just been hard. It's just been a miserable however long. And I realized I had just missed so much of the journey that even led up to that. And the journey is not always going to be happy and full of rainbows and sunshine. That's not the point all the time. I've just had a lot of awesome times. I've met and made friends with so many amazing people. I've seen the world. I've laughed hard. I've watched my kid grow. I fell in love with whoa, I'm gonna cry a little bit. I fell in love with 3 other kids that will always be in my heart. I've shared experiences with these kids that can never be taken away, and they fill my heart with so much joy when I think about them. And I could go on and on. And the point is that none of these experiences were about the destination. It was the journey in those moments. And I learned so much during those millions of moments on the way. All right, that was unexpected. But just lessons that have shaped me, that have changed the destination for the better, and all creating who I am today. So, am I where I thought I would be? I don't know. I don't know if I know where I thought I would be, but I know I'm where God needs me to be. And has there been some super hard times and like path changes that I don't understand why they happen? Yeah. And again, some of it, like, I think, I now don't believe that God does bad things or has these bad things happen, but I do believe that he's there to teach us and guide us when something bad does happen. And Moses committed murder. Exodus 2:11-12. That landed him on a journey he would have never guessed would have happened, that led to one of the more significant stories in the Bible. Noah had strong faith, Genesis 6:22, but had you asked him like what the future held, would he have been doing it all because he knew one day that he was going to be building an ark? Or was he just like in the journey and part of it, and during a time that just kind of seemed miserable and a lot of really hard work? And then David had faith like no other, and he became famous, right, by beating Goliath with a single stone, and then being, in the kingdom, like, entertaining and serving Saul, and jealousy happens, and he's persecuted and run out, but his faith doesn't waver. And does he know it doesn't waver at that point because of what he's going to become? Or is he just like stuck in the journey and just being part of it and living his faith? There's so much we miss that's in the journey. Just wishing for the destination or the end. People wish you the best year ever on your birthday, right? And all sorts of things on your birthday. So my plan this year, to set goals. I think it's important to still set goals, but enjoy and experience the journey. I mean, if you don't, then before you know it, you're 41 and wondering what's happened. And then it's 61 and so on. I don't want to ask another year, where's the time gone? I want to have felt and lived in each experience. So what journeys have you missed? What have you wished to be over? What have you wished to not do again? The journey doesn't always have to be happy and joyful. It'll bring a lot of tears and a lot of sadness and a lot of pain. But it's still important to not miss it. What have you wished to not do again? Or what have you wished to be over? I don't know. Too much. I know I have. But all of it is just, all those experiences and joy and sadness are all yours to harness for your own personal growth. And as I have the opportunity to reflect through just the years and years of life and experience, I still find myself learning lessons from things that had happened that didn't go the way I wanted it to go, or weren't what I wanted it to be, and so on. But there's always an opportunity to learn, and there's always an opportunity to grow. And yes, this will result in failure, in setbacks. But God will always be there to not let any bad situation happen go to waste. You just got to keep faith and listen, and maybe you get the answer right away from that experience, or maybe it takes a long time. But don't wish it away. Enjoy every minute. That's my goal and my lesson for the week. God, as we go into another year and another day, Lord, just ask, and just pray for and just grateful for your grace and your love, and for the opportunities that we have, that you give us, and the chances that you give us over and over, so we can fail and try again and learn. We're just grateful for your love. And I say these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So, enjoy the journey. We'll do it again next week.
For me, I be stuck in the dark. I'm just being who I'm made. I ain't playing no part. If you searching for fulfillment, he ain't far. What's temporary to eternal? Eternal. What's temporary to eternal?